Why would there have been any need for honor when killing him then? Because unlike you, he was actually serving the god of death's cause, Zack says. You, on the other hand, are so beyond salvation that you can only serve him through your deaths. If it is before my duty to send you to him before you stray even further away from the righteous path. Iluna, can you move? Darren says no. Iluna says the girls pushed her body way beyond her limits while we were in delusion. I can feel an ache coming from every single bone and muscle. I couldn't even manage to move one finger. Her body is bruised all over. Her clothes are a mess, and Araka's amulet is. So she pauses for a second, and all of a sudden you hear a crack coming from the amulet around her neck. Oh, Iluna says, oh no. And she's laughing. The amulet cracks again, this time a lot more violently than before. Araka's laughter intensifies even further. And she's going insane. Suddenly the amulet breaks completely and a dark aura envelops Iluna as the girl's body slowly rises itself into the air in an upright position. Very powerful wind is now blowing in our faces, pushing us all away from her, while the sky is becoming darker and darker by the second. The girl's eyes are now slowly turning from bright blue to pitch black as she grins widely while looking at each of us in turn. So this is what you all look like in the flesh, Araka says. It was kind of hard to tell from inside the amulet, going by magical sense alone. How you people can get by every day without being mistaken for a circus troupe is beyond me. You're the one to talk, Hedrick says. You do realize that you're literally dressed like a clown right now, don't you? Araka grins evilly at Hedrick. Dwarf, she says. Are you sure it's a good idea to be standing there cracking jokes? Shouldn't you rather be buying me that beer you owe me? I could really go for a drink right now. That and mass murder. I'm not sure which one should be starting with. Flower, Kate says weakly. What happened to Flower? Where are Flower and Luna? Oh, they're dead, Araka says. Or should I say absorbed? What happened is that I merged with their soul when I took over their body. They're both part of me now. So they're still in there somewhere? Kate asks. Well, I guess you could say that, Araka says, if you want to be all technical about it. But the fact of the matter is, monster, Zack shouts all of a sudden, while pointing towards Araka. Abomination, begone, foul demon. Suddenly the skeletal dragon, which had not moved an inch since we escaped the illusion, flaps its wings and rushes toward Araka, roaring loudly. Just as it reaches her, the dragon explodes into thousands of tiny pieces that get scattered throughout the whole area around us. I really didn't think she would escape this early in the fucking novel. Really now, Araka says. As the dragon's bones fly in all directions, the ground begins to shake and several skeletons start to slowly rise from it. It doesn't take me long to realize that this is Necromancer's doing, that all of the skeletons standing in front of us are still waters. Do you understand now, Banshee? Zack says. Do you understand who you are facing against? It is the true power of God of Death. You get on your knees now and beg for Ulrich's forgiveness. He might just see fit to grant you quick and painless death. Araka ignores the mage completely, choosing instead to stare intently at one of the skeletons that had risen from the ground. Wait a minute, Araka says. I know, you're Valen, right? Short legs Valen, who couldn't hold a tune to save his life. You're not going to hurt me, are you? Remember all those fun times we had during the still winter? Remember that one time when you had to fish you out of the pond because you fell in while you were practicing your flying spell, and you suddenly remembered they couldn't swim? Remember how we used to make fun of you because you always walked funny after you expended all your magical energy? Remember when I tied you to the tree and forced you to watch me slowly murder all your friends until you could managed to hit all the notes in the kiddie song from The Lion and the Lamb? Those were the days, huh? Now, how did that song go? Araka clears her throat and she begins to sing. Oh, there was a lamb, she sings, and the lamb had such a bright white wool. As Araka sings the song, the skeleton named Valen starts to shake uncontrollably. It put both of its hands on his head as if it were having an intense headache. Eventually, its pain turns into rage. It roars loudly. It just starts shooting fire out of his hand. The fire simply brushes off Araka's magical shield. She acts as if nothing happened, continues to sing her song. But just standing there, you fools, Zack asked the other skeleton. Attack her, kill her. The skeletons all start firing at Araka, attacking her with all types of elemental magic simultaneously, while also using spells to weaken her defenses. Araka acts as if she doesn't even notice the onslaught of spells that are being cast upon her. She continues to sing without any interruptions. You can stop your little act now, Banshee, Zack says. I can see right through you. Even though you are acting calm and collected, the reality is that you can barely even withstand the barrage of attacks that are being flung against you, that you have no means of fighting back. Since my skeleton are fully protected against sonic attacks, you could say that they are near indestructible. There's nothing you can do to hurt them. Oh, he took that from the last fight and removed the sonic attack thing. Araka stops singing and she smiles wickedly at the necromancers. Oh, they're protecting from sonic attacks, you say? We should cover our ears, probably, she says with a mocking tone, as the skeleton continues to attack her with everything they got. How impressive, truly. You're a mage among mages, but tell me, necromancer, did you consider shielding your puppets from pebbles as well. What kind of question is that, you little... Zack starts to say, but Araka doesn't give him a chance to finish the question. While the necromancer was talking, Araka made a few pebbles from the ground float into her hand. Then she starts flinging them with her fingers towards each of the skeletons. The pebbles reached them, the skeleton exploded, but this time into pieces so small that could very well be confused with specks of dust. When the necromancer saw what happened, his jaw dropped, and he could bring himself to utter another word. He was too great of a shock. He was in too great of a shock. Yeah, you go ahead and wrap that up and send it to old Ulruk as a present, Araka says as she gestures towards the piles of dust on the ground. Tell him it's from Araka. Tell him that he should be expecting many more presents from me in the near future. Tell him that once I'm done with the earthen plane, I'll be paying him a visit. I'll visit him, I'll visit Memphir, I'll visit every single one of those so-called gods that thought it would be a good joke to have me banned from the magical plane along with every other banshee in existence. And we can all have a party together, since while we reminisce over... what reminisce over times long forgotten? Shut up, Darren says to Araka all of a sudden. Start walking towards her with a furious look on her face. I don't care less about your past or your personal vendetta. You bring them back, you hear me? You bring them back, both back this instant. Excuse me? Araka says. Oh, Darren is gonna get us killed. You know what I'm talking about, Darren says. Flower and Luna, and bring them both back right now. What are you, ugly and stupid? Araka says. Didn't I just tell you that I absorbed their soul when I took over their body? What do you expect me to do? Cut them out of me with a meat cleaver? You're not going to let them go until I force you to do it. Darren says as he pulls out his sword. Prepare yourself, Banshee. What is he, an idiot? Look at what you're fighting. So mass murder it is then, Araka says with a grin as Darren rushes towards her. Before he even takes 3 steps, Darren suddenly starts to wither like a plant at an incredible rapid pace. Within seconds, the only thing that's left of him is his armor, as the rest of his body has been completely turned into dust. Wow, that was intense. I didn't expect that. No, Kate says as she places her hand over her mouth. No, she conjures 100 icicles. Oh, Kate says. Why is Kate getting that mad? I guess he is an ally, I suppose. She conjures 100 icicles as she aims toward Araka, but before she gets to attack them with her, she withers just like Darren. Within seconds, nothing is left of her except a pile of dust. No, Rose shouts as she starts to cry. Please stop, please. What's the matter, Hardrick? Araka says as she grins wickedly. Aren't you going to show me that giant's fighting spirit of yours that you like to brag about so much? I'm right here. What are you waiting for? I'll show you fighting spirit, you arrogant old hag, Hardrick says as a trickle of sweat runs down the side of his forehead. He rushes towards Araka with a fist at the ready. Just like the two before him, Hardrick quickly turns into dust, and all of that remains of him is his leather armor and boots. Please, Rose says again, and this time with a much weaker voice than before. The dead, they're all died in front of me. How can this be? Is this another illusion? It has to be, that's right. This must be an illusion. Close my eyes and try to visualize the real world in my mind. Try to make the image as clear as possible. I had to throw myself into it just like I did before, but nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Not seriously going to close your eyes and pretend that I'm not here, are you? Araka says. Tells me, come on, take out your dagger. It's no fun killing you if you don't even put up a fight. I'm not gonna give you that satisfaction. Araka says, I was actually going to kill you slowly in order to torment your friends. In order to torment your friends over there, but was just not the same if you don't plan to fight back. She then waves her hands towards Rose, and she kills her in the same way that she killed all the others. Well, it was a fun little trip while it lasted, Barry. Araka says, the trip might end for you today, but don't worry, you will always live in my memory. She waves her hand towards me, and I can feel every part of my body drying up quickly. As my vision starts to blur, Araka words are the last thing I hear before I completely lose my consciousness. So long, Barry, Araka says. It's been a blast. Oh, I thought that was... When did I make a choice that led to my death? I don't even remember. I'll be back in a moment. I think this was the last choice I made, so I'm just gonna go with this one maybe. How do you know we're irredeemable? The fact that you have reached maturity, have not decided to dedicate your life to the god of death is proof enough, heathen. Zack says, never idle chattel. I'm going to teach you all firsthand why your whole lives until this point were a mistake. Oh, no, this is the same thing after that. This is the last one. I'm gonna go with this one. So how do you become a follower of Ulruk? Anyway, do they hold interviews for that? Do not mock the almighty god Ulruk, heathen. Zack says, the god of death welcomes all who would dedicate their lives to serve him without exception. Even if they are of no use to him, they can still serve him through their deaths, and this is exactly what you're going to do. Yeah, this is the same thing. How do you escape this then? There's no choices. They just die here. Oh, you attack Araka? Maybe that's the choice? What is that going to achieve? If we attack Araka, is the same as death. I mean, like, what do you think? Our character is gonna kill Araka or something?